JMU has joined a consortium of select universities that is designed to drive regional innovation, economic performance, and global competitiveness. It's called the Chesapeake Crescent Innovation Alliance, and among the 9 schools are Georgetown, Johns Hopkins, the University of Maryland, UVA, and Virginia Tech. The alliance stated that JMU's partnership with SRI International and its dedicated approach to undergraduate research made it a natural fit for the consortium. And joining us now to discuss the consortium is Dr. John Nofsinger, JMU Vice Provost for Research and Public Service. John, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Bob.
Now, the biggest benefits for JMU being part of this consortium?
Well, it will actually increase our presence in the Washington region, which is important because we have students that come from there. It will also allow us to enhance our grant capabilities as we work with these universities to seek additional grants.
So, going after funding, give us an example of how this might work with in this consortium.
There's a good example recently where we went for a American Recovery Act program. Stimulus, and it was a smart grid, which is in the energy area, which is an area we're focusing on. And we worked with Johns Hopkins, George Mason, UVA, a couple local utilities in the Washington area, PEPCO, to go after a smart grid proposal. We're still waiting to hear from that, but that was an opportunity that we would not have had without this consortium.
Now, for instance, in this project, if you were to get funding, what role would JMU play, and then what actually, to give the viewers an idea, what would take place at JMU that would be as a result of this? Each
proposal is different, and we need to look at the nature of the proposal. In the smart grid example, we actually were the cybersecurity response. So every time we do one of these, we have to look at the strengths of the institutions. In this situation, they said, we like your cybersecurity capabilities, and that was our strength in that situation.
Other areas of research that you would be involved with in this consortium as your part?
Interestingly enough, the fit is very perfect for us with regard to life sciences, energy, and security. So we will be looking at all those 3 areas.
Okay. Is there an example of JMU's research that has been done at the university which is being translated now into commercial application?
We have a number of technologies that we are actually marketing now through our Office of Technology Transfer. One of those areas is we just recently signed a licensing deal in biodegradable plastics. We also have a variety of tests that we use to assess student learning. These tests are being used nationally and internationally, and we are actually hoping to package those and market those much more aggressively than we have.
Now, elaborate for us on that first one. That sounds very interesting, the biodegradable plastic. Now, go ahead.
Yes, Bob. Biodegradable plastic was created in Madison in the late 80s and early 90s by a professor who's no longer here. This is a technology, because of fuel prices, maybe wasn't much useful. Now that fuel prices have spiked and people are looking at alternative energy, this plastic is actually being looked at for a technology that could be a solution for companies across the country.
So what is happening now at JMU in regards to that, or is the application already taking place outside of the university?
The research is done, and we've actually, since we co-own the intellectual property, we have licensed that intellectual property to a company in Boston.
And then, depending upon what happens with it, you get paid, JMU gets
right,
paid, or is it just because it's licensed you get paid straight out?
We were paid for the license, and then if something happens from it, more can happen.
Okay. Another area you're doing a lot in is alternative fuels. What seems to be the most promising there? Because we keep hearing about wind and all these different types of biofuels.
Well, I think you've hit it on the head. Wind and biofuels are 2 of the areas that we are focusing on. Wind, you're going to see a lot more, especially the governors of Maryland and Virginia have signed an agreement for offshore oil, offshore wind, and so you're going to see a lot of terrestrial and offshore wind.
Okay, so we'll be looking for more of that in the future. John Nofsinger, the JMU Vice Provost for Research and Public Service, I want to thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Bob.
And now let's send it to Mel.